college football is starting to crank up. And I've always said that, really, they shouldn't really be ranking teams until about right now, till about week 5 or 6, because I know why they do it, because it's always nice on TV to say we've got number 2 against number 5 or whatever, but we don't really know who these teams are just yet. And I think we're starting to see that a little bit. I think the 2 best teams in college football right now are Alabama and Georgia by a long margin. I think number 3 and 4, whoever they are far behind. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there's probably a little bit more parity beyond the top 2 than what we've seen in recent years. I think it's really been almost a foregone conclusion who the top 4 to 5 teams are, maybe even the top 6. And I don't think it's that way this year. I definitely think that through the almost first half of the season, we have seen Alabama and Georgia completely separate themselves. Especially Georgia's defense, I think, is the best unit in the land, the most physical in the land. But beyond that, look, Clemson has really significant deep issues on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
Their defense is being asked to carry too much of the load. Ohio State, I think, is the 3rd most talented team in college football behind Alabama and Georgia. But they've got some young players stepping into new roles, and they've obviously, with the linebacker quitting mid-game last weekend, 10 days ago, they've got some issues to work out there. So you're exactly right. I think it's Alabama and Georgia and everybody else, but I think the fact that it's 2 teams and everybody else is truly good news for college football.
Yes, I would agree with that. And I also think that, when we can dig into Georgia and Alabama some more later on, if you come on again later this season. But, I kind of use the analogy that, when you go shopping and you pass by a nice fancy store and you look in the display window, it really catches your eye, and you want to come in and look further. But then you get in there and maybe there's a little bit, it doesn't fit right, doesn't look right. And then you go to the old thing on the counter that you always used to get. And I think Georgia and Alabama are the same way. I mean, I think if you look at these 2 teams right now, my first thought would be, hey, Georgia's the best team in the country. They shut out 2 opponents. They shut out Arkansas that was ranked in the top 10. They held Clemson to a field goal. But, Alabama just keeps rolling along. I mean, they beat Florida in the swamp. Yeah, it was close, but they found ways to win. They beat Ole Miss, even though Lane Kiffin said, get your popcorn ready. That game was out of hand. The final score is no indication of Alabama's domination. So I think Alabama's I think maybe they're still the best team, but I know it really doesn't matter right now. I think both of them are obviously excellent football teams.
Yeah, I think that there's no question that they're the 2 best teams. And again, I think they have different strengths. And Alabama gets the edge because Alabama has been there and done it. And I know every season stands anew. But I also, and we both know this firsthand from what we saw Maryville do for all those years, there's a true element to believing that you're going to win.
Right.
And Alabama truly believes it's going to win every game.
Right.
Georgia is getting to that point, but Alabama is at that point. I think that's a big difference.